Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to In the News. Live news and commentary from around the world by your host, Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
Hey everybody, welcome to In the News. I'm Holy Joe Rock and Roll, your host. Let's talk about the ZIKA virus. Is the ZIKA virus the latest CIA bioweapon to kill the black and the brown man? We talked about Ebola last year, and I mentioned that there have been almost every year, every other year, there's a new virus, a new outbreak, a new end of the world apocalyptic plague that the media hypes up, right? Last year it was Ebola. That was controlled, no problem, right? I'm laughing because this is like a broken record. This year it's Zika. Now, to be honest, to be fair, the media has not hyped it up, so far, has not hyped it up to be a end of the world type situation. Thank God. Because we know that the Zika virus is primarily spread by mosquitoes. Now, we are hearing that it is possible to spread sexually, right? Once it's in the blood, it's possible to transmit sexually. Possibly it's in the urine. So there may be other pathways to the spread of the Zika virus. But primarily it's spread by mosquitoes, just like dengue fever and malaria and other diseases. You know, historically the mosquito has been a huge killer, right? The bubonic plague was transmitted by fleas that were on rats, right? So fleas are different than mosquitoes, but you get the idea of these insects. So I think part of the reason why it hasn't been hyped up into this massive hysterical thing like we started to hear from about Ebola is that, you know, people in America generally know, at least in North America and northern hemispheres, we have a thing called winter, which kills mosquitoes, kills bacteria, kills a lot of things. And even in this climate change, global warming, climate change scenario, we still have winters, thankfully, which does help control insect populations. We also have relatively clean cities. Trash is collected on a regular basis, and you don't see a lot of stagnant water and a lot of filth in most Western first world democracies, okay? So the chances of it spreading by mosquito are rather low, and we know that historically. The second thing is, when I heard about this, if it's transmitted by mosquitoes, I'm thinking DDT, people. DDT has been and is the most effective pesticide against mosquitoes. When they used it in the 50s and 60s, it eradicated malaria and all these mosquito-borne illnesses massively, right? And it wasn't until the 70s when this environmental movement started up where they claimed that DDT got into the food system and that it was causing the eggs of bald eagles to be weak, killing bald eagles, possibly creating a species extinct scenario for the bald eagle. Listen, I'm all for the bald eagle, but more recent evidence has shown that DDT had nothing to do with that. There were other factors that probably contributed to eggs of eagles becoming weak. And American eagles in general, are not endangered anymore, not considered endangered species anymore. So the fear of DDT really has been overblown in the past, and even if it's for, let's say, a 6-month period or during peak mosquito breeding periods, why not use DDT in these core areas where we know the Zika virus exists in these mosquitoes? Now, what is the problem with the Zika virus? Why is it an issue? Well, a woman who's pregnant who has the Zika virus, there is a chance of what's known as MICROCEPHALY, which means the baby is born with an unusually smaller head and a smaller brain, which can lead to a lot of health issues down the road because basically the head and the brain are too small. So that is a major concern, and I believe it was Costa Rica has asked people to not get pregnant for the next 2 years. Isn't that amazing? Birth control influenced by the Zika virus. So it's really kind of we're at the early stages of the situation. I believe that, look, DDT is the ultimate cure if you wanted to stamp this thing down. Certainly, they are using other programs where they have sterile mosquitoes that go out there, mate with Zika virus carrying mosquitoes, but they have no offspring, and that sort of thing. But DDT, people, is the easiest, fastest, cheapest, and most effective way to control this outbreak. And why aren't we doing it? I'm Holy Joe Rock and Roll. This has been In the News on the Zika virus, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
In the News, a feature of HJRR TV and presented by the Reverend Dr. Holy Joe Rock and Roll. Please rate us, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to this channel for more In the News.